to be with.
Listen up, this is a full priority situation.
You talk to someone inside Treadstone.
Jesus Christ.
Take them both out.
Listen, this is real.
What are you doing here?
Response Everest. Why did you come back?
It gets easier.
Why did you pick me?
We didn't pick you, you picked us.
I remember everything.
Why didn't you take the shot?
Do you even know why you're supposed to kill me?
Following his narrow escape in Moscow, Jason Bourne continues to evade the authorities while struggling with painful injuries and fragmented memories. Bleeding and exhausted, he makes his way through the crowded train station, carefully avoiding detection. His mind flashes back to the early days of Operation Treadstone, when he was first recruited and conditioned. In these fragmented memories, Jason recalls being escorted through a sterile, dimly lit facility by a medical professional. He struggles to read the address on a nearby wall, knowing it holds the key to understanding who he truly is. Desperate and wounded, Jason breaks into a closed pharmacy, scavenging for medical supplies. He cleans and stitches his wounds, injecting himself with painkillers to stay conscious. The police soon track him down, but Jason avoids confrontation, refusing to kill them. Using his tactical instincts, he escapes once again into the night, disappearing into the shadows of Moscow.
It's what you are, Jason.
6 weeks later, CIA Deputy Director Pamela Landy sits in her office, briefing CIA Director Ezra Kramer. She plays a recording, the final taped confession of Ward Abbott, the former head of Treadstone. On the tape, Abbott admits his involvement in the illegal assassinations and covert operations under Treadstone, as well as ordering the assassination attempt that killed Marie Kreutz, the woman who had been helping Jason. Abbott's guilt ultimately drove him to suicide, leaving behind the confession that Jason had recovered. Kramer listens closely, understanding the full scope of Abbott's betrayal. Landy explains that Jason's actions were not those of a vengeful killer, but of a man searching for the truth about himself. She points out that if Bourne had wanted to expose or destroy the CIA, he could have leaked the confession to the press. Instead, Jason sent it directly to her, a sign that he wanted the truth revealed, not chaos. Landy further reveals that Jason's trip to Moscow had a personal purpose. He visited the daughter of his very first target, a mission from the beginning of his career as an assassin. This means that Jason is retracing his past, piece by piece, trying to uncover the missing fragments of his identity and the dark history of the man he once was.
This one's 3 years ago.
In Turin, Italy, journalist Simon Ross of The Guardian meets with a mysterious informant who claims to know details about Jason Bourne and a secret CIA program known as Operation Blackbriar, a successor to Treadstone. Ross records everything, but before he can ask more questions, his contact abruptly leaves, warning him to be careful. As Ross returns to London, he calls his editor to discuss the story. The moment he mentions the word Blackbriar, the conversation is intercepted by Echelon, a global surveillance system used by the CIA. The alert is immediately flagged at CIA headquarters. Deputy Director Noah Vosen takes charge of the situation, realizing that the secrecy of Blackbriar is at risk.
People listen up, this is a full priority situation.
He orders his full team into action, surveillance units, satellite tracking, and field agents to locate and contain Simon Ross before any classified information reaches the public. Meanwhile, Jason Bourne resurfaces in Paris. Still haunted by Marie's death, he visits her brother Martin Kreutz, informing him that Marie was murdered in India by the agency. Bourne offers his condolences and assures Martin that Marie's death will not go unanswered. Though Martin is devastated, he understands that Jason's fight is far from over. Later, Bourne reads Simon Ross's published articles about him in The Guardian, realizing that Ross's information comes from someone inside the CIA, possibly someone who knows more about Treadstone and its successor, Blackbriar.
Who is this?
This is Jason Bourne.
Bourne contacts Ross and arranges to meet him at London Waterloo Station, one of the busiest transit hubs in Europe. When Bourne arrives at the station, he quickly observes signs that Ross is being watched. CIA field agents are stationed across the concourse, communicating through earpieces as Vosen monitors the operation remotely. Acting fast, Bourne slips through the crowd undetected and places a prepaid burner phone into Ross's coat pocket. He then calls Ross on the phone and tells him to stay calm and follow his instructions precisely. Through the phone, Bourne directs Ross on how to avoid the surveillance teams, when to turn, when to stop, and when to blend in. Ross, terrified and confused, does his best to follow. Jason uses his knowledge of CIA tactics and the station's layout to outmaneuver Vosen's agents, keeping Ross one step ahead of capture. Eventually, Bourne meets Ross in a crowded marketplace near the station.
What's your source's name?
Look, what's going on?
Speaking quickly, Bourne demands to know who Ross's source is. Ross reveals that his contact told him Blackbriar is a direct evolution of Treadstone, an upgraded program that began with Jason Bourne himself. Jason realizes that Blackbriar may hold the final answers to his past and to everything that was done to him. Vosen reviews the surveillance footage from London Waterloo Station and spots Jason Bourne assisting Simon Ross during the chaos. Jumping to conclusions, Vosen assumes that Bourne is Ross's inside source, the person responsible for leaking information about Operation Blackbriar to the press. Furious, Vosen orders his agents to seal all exits from the station and to eliminate both Ross and Bourne immediately, no matter the collateral damage. Bourne, aware of the growing danger, continues to guide Ross through the crowd using the burner phone, warning him to stay calm and follow his instructions precisely. But the situation spirals out of control when Ross panics, ignores Bourne's directions, and breaks from the path Jason planned. The moment Ross steps into an open area, a Blackbriar assassin, Paz, Edgar Ramirez, takes aim from a nearby rooftop under direct orders from Deputy Director Noah Vosen. A single silenced shot echoes across the station. Ross is killed instantly, collapsing among the terrified crowd. Bourne rushes to him, taking the journalist's files and notebook before Paz can line up another shot. Bourne quickly disappears into the chaos, vanishing from surveillance view before the CIA can lock down the area. Back at CIA headquarters, Vosen reports Bourne's involvement to Director Ezra Kramer. Vosen insists that Bourne was the source of the leak, escalating the agency's hunt for him. Pamela Landy, who previously led the unsuccessful operation to capture Bourne 6 weeks earlier, is called in to assist Vosen. However, tensions arise immediately between the two. Landy harshly criticizes Vosen for authorizing a lethal operation in a crowded public area, condemning his decision to murder a journalist in plain sight. Vosen, defensive and arrogant, dismisses her concerns, saying she has no right to second-guess a live field operation from behind a desk. Despite their friction, Vosen orders Landy's team to analyze Simon Ross's notes recovered from his London apartment. Their investigation reveals that Ross's inside contact was Neil Daniels, Colin Stinton, the CIA station chief in Madrid, who was directly involved in both Treadstone and Blackbriar. Meanwhile, Jason Bourne, now in possession of Ross's documents, follows the lead to Madrid, determined to find Daniels and uncover the truth behind Blackbriar. When Bourne arrives at Daniels' office, he finds it completely deserted. Daniels had fled the moment he saw news of Ross's death, taking the classified Blackbriar files with him. As Bourne searches the office, a team of CIA operatives, dispatched by Vosen and Landy, storms the building. Acting with precision and speed, Bourne disarms and incapacitates the agents without killing them, leaving them unconscious before making his escape once again. Nikki Parsons, Julia Stiles, a former Treadstone operative who once worked closely with Jason Bourne, now lives undercover in Madrid. When Bourne finds her, Nikki tells him that Neil Daniels has already fled to Tangier, Morocco. Knowing the CIA will soon arrive, Nikki helps Bourne escape through the city before Vozen's tactical team can corner them. Back at CIA headquarters, Vozen briefs Pamela Landy on the true nature of Blackbriar. He explains that Blackbriar is not just another Black Ops program, it's an umbrella project overseeing all of the CIA's covert operations and assassination programs worldwide. Since Daniels oversaw operations across Southern Europe and Africa, Vozen knows he possesses information that could expose everything. Convinced that Bourne's goal is to reveal the existence of Blackbriar to the public, Vozen orders both Daniels and Bourne to be eliminated. Meanwhile, Bourne tells Nikki he isn't interested in revenge or destruction. He only wants to uncover the truth about how everything began. Nikki admits that she's helping him because she once had feelings for him, and she can no longer be part of the system that destroyed their lives.
His location's being blocked by the firewall.
Nikki discovers that the CIA has already activated a Blackbriar assassin, Desh Buksani, Joey Ansa, to kill Daniels in Tangier. She sets up a plan. She'll contact Desh and arrange to meet him at a cafe, giving Bourne the chance to track Desh and reach Daniels first. However, when Vozen sees Nikki's unauthorized access to Daniels' file, he realizes she's working with Bourne. Furious, he reassigns Desh's mission, ordering him to eliminate both Daniels and Nikki, and Bourne if necessary. Landy objects to this escalation, questioning Vozen's ethics and asking, "Where does this end if we start killing our own people?" Vozen coldly responds, "It ends when we've won." In Tangier, Bourne tails Desh through the narrow, crowded streets and rooftops, desperately trying to reach Daniels before the assassin does. But he's too late. Desh plants a bomb in Daniels' briefcase, killing him in a fiery explosion before Bourne can intervene. Bourne then chases Desh across the rooftops of Tangier in a tense and brutal fight. After a fierce hand-to-hand battle, Bourne kills Desh, saving Nikki moments before she's discovered and executed. Knowing the CIA will continue hunting her, Bourne tells Nikki to disappear and assume a new identity. After she vanishes, Bourne searches through Daniels' briefcase, uncovering a crucial lead, a slip of paper bearing an address in New York City, the location of a deep-cover CIA office from which Vozen directs Blackbriar. Determined to finish what he started, Jason Bourne travels to New York. Pamela Landy receives an unexpected phone call from Jason Bourne, but the line is quickly intercepted and monitored by Noah Vozen and his CIA team. During their brief conversation, Landy thanks Bourne for sending her the audio tape that exposed the corrupt actions of Ward Abbott, Brian Cox, the former head of Treadstone. The tape confirmed Abbott's role in numerous illegal operations and assassinations, vindicating Bourne's earlier claims. Landy then tells Bourne that she has uncovered his true identity. His real name is David Webb, born on April 15, 1971. Bourne responds calmly, telling her to get some rest, and the remark immediately alerts her that he is nearby, watching her from a building across the street in New York City. Moments later, Vozen intercepts a text message Bourne sends to Landy, containing an address for a supposed meeting. Believing this to be Bourne's next move, Vozen gathers his tactical strike team and heads to the location to capture or kill him. But Bourne had anticipated this. Once Vozen and his agents vacate CIA headquarters, Bourne infiltrates Vozen's office, breaking into his secured desk and stealing the classified Blackbriar files. When Vozen realizes that he's been outsmarted, he immediately orders Paz, Edgar Ramirez, the Blackbriar assassin, to pursue Bourne. A high-speed car chase through the crowded streets of New York ensues, ending violently when both Bourne's and Paz's vehicles crash into a concrete barrier. Despite being injured, Bourne gains the upper hand and points his gun at the wounded Paz, but once again, he chooses not to kill. He lowers his weapon and walks away, leaving Paz alive and shaken. Using clues from Landy's earlier message, Bourne deciphers the code and travels to a hospital located at 415 East 71st Street, the place where Treadstone's behavioral conditioning was first conducted. Outside the hospital, Bourne meets Landy face-to-face. Without saying much, he hands her the Blackbriar documents, ensuring that the truth about the CIA's illegal programs will finally be exposed. At the same time, Vosen decodes Landy's message and realizes where Bourne has gone. He calls Dr. Albert Hirsch, Albert Finney, the man in charge of the original Treadstone experiments, warning him that Bourne is on his way. Vosen races to the hospital, but he arrives too late. Landy has already faxed the Blackbriar files to the authorities, ensuring that the operation's existence can no longer be buried. On an upper floor of the hospital, Dr. Albert Hirsch, Albert Finney, the man responsible for the Treadstone Behavior Modification Program, comes face-to-face with Jason Bourne. As Hirsch tries to reason with him, Bourne's fragmented memories finally come together. He realizes the full truth. He had volunteered for Treadstone, choosing to become an assassin in the name of serving his country. The psychological conditioning, the manipulation, and the killings, all of it began with his own decision. Bourne, now fully aware of his past, decides not to kill Hirsch and turns to leave. As he makes his escape through the hospital, Vosen and his tactical team close in. Bourne reaches the roof, only to be confronted by Paz, Edgar Ramirez, the Blackbriar assassin who previously tried to kill him. With his gun aimed at Bourne, Paz hesitates and asks, "Why didn't you take the shot?" Bourne calmly responds, asking him in return, "Do you even know why you're supposed to kill me?" The question strikes Paz deeply. After a moment of silence, he lowers his weapon, choosing not to shoot. Just then, Vosen bursts onto the rooftop and opens fire. Bourne sprints toward the edge and dives off the building, plunging into the East River below as bullets tear through the air behind him. Days later, Nikki Parsons, Julia Stiles, watches a news broadcast revealing that Operation Blackbriar has been exposed to the public. The report confirms the arrests of Dr. Hirsch and Noah Vosen, along with an ongoing criminal investigation into CIA Director Ezra Kramer. The anchor mentions that despite a 3-day search, the body of David Webb, also known as Jason Bourne, has not been found. Upon hearing this, Nikki smiles faintly, knowing what that means. The final scene cuts to Bourne swimming silently through the waters of the East River, alive and free at last.